Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with my January wrap up, which I was like, I'm gonna go slower this year. We're gonna have a cooler time, like we're gonna slow our roll. I did not slow my roll. I technically only needed to read 8 or 9 books this month. That is not what I did. January was a packed reading month. And honestly, I'm happy for it. I am allowing myself a lot more grace though. Because of those lower goals, you're gonna see that this number was helped a lot because I did a lot of the thing that I said I was going to do. So yeah, January was a fascinating reading month. Let's dive right into the stats because I read 14 books in January. I DNF'd 5. I DNF'd 5 books this month, which is nuts to me. But yeah, I read 14 total, DNF'd 5. Listen, that motion on my read what you own, it's happening because I am DNFing and I'm just like, I don't want to read this, so I don't read it. So those 14 books accounted for 3,888 pages. I had an average rating of a 4.1. That seems higher than I expected. But hey, DNFing is obviously working. I listened to 91 hours of audiobooks. This is at normal speeds. This year I'm doing the math, so it's just the normal audiobook speed because I listen, it ranges from 2.5 to 3 times speed. It really just depends on the book. So there's that. I read 3 titles from KU. 1 book from the library. As far as age demographics, every single title I read this month was an adult title. I would like to see that shift some as the year goes. I want to pick up a little bit more middle grade. I would like to pick up some more YA. Like, I just would like to vary it a little bit. Format wise, I read 6 ebooks and 8 audiobooks. I did not read any debuts, so there's that. Right now, as I'm not vlogging, in the middle of the month, you get that mid-month check-in, and that check-in has everything else I read, but I'm going to go through everything I read after filming that through the end of January. So yeah, let's talk about the books I read since we last chatted. First things first, I did read The Scent of Us by Alana Lee. This was a Kindle Unlimited checkout and a Hoopla audio combo that I had going because I saw that this hit Hoopla, and I've been wanting to read it for ages, and I really enjoy her books in the Cozyverse series. So I dove right in. Right in. And I had a blast. This one does start really strong. Very high emotional punch here because our heroine is being abused by a pack and mistreated as their Omega. And she finds a way out. And this whole series is about Omegas who escape like really shitty packs and are able to dissolve their bonds with them and then move forward and finding love again. This one was really sweet. We find the character in this one that was like helping take care of her in the series and make things better for her. So that was really sweet and fun. I truly just had a blast in this. I think it had just the right balance of like emotional punch and tension and romance. Like all of the mix here for me was perfection. Then I read Grumpily Ever After by Tegan Hunter. This is like a 3.5, okay? This was okay. This is not my favorite Tegan Hunter I've ever read. It's not my least favorite I've ever read either. It is right in the middle. It is just perfectly okay. I had an ebook and an audiobook arc from NetGalley for this one. It came out this month, so I went ahead and read it. This is a best friend's older brother situation. He's a former NHL player. He's retired, running a brewery and a farm in upstate Washington. I think Washington's Pacific Northwest area. And she, Odette, is a wedding planner and is planning her best friend Izzy's wedding. And that setup was fascinating because they're rushing to the wedding and like literally rushing, like we're planning this wedding in 6 weeks, which was like, I am someone who planned my wedding in 3 weeks, I think. 4 weeks, it was under a month. That's why I got married in Vegas, but it was planned very quickly and it was fantastic. But also, I'm just not somebody who wanted like the whole rigmarole, right? So that helps. But yeah, so she needs a venue, and her last wedding had some issues that were not her fault, but obviously people don't want to book Odette because of it. And they managed to convince Izzy's older brother, Noah, to allow them to use the bar and stuff. And basically they're working together to renovate the barn and all these things. And lo and behold, sparks ignite, of course, because there's tension there, and she used to have a crush on him and all this stuff. And it's very interesting. I liked a lot of this book. There was a lot of this book that I liked, and a lot of it that I was like, it's just kind of that thing where it's like, I read this before and it's still fun to reread this kind of story. But at 90%, there is a reveal around Izzy and her fiance, and Odette walks in on it. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you want the full spoiler, it's on my review on Goodreads, I believe. And I was just so mad. I was so mad that that was the plot point we went with. I saw it coming from a mile away, though. Let me tell you, I saw that coming from a mile away, and I was like, oh no, not that. Please, not that. And then I was like, no, of course that. Of course it's that. So yeah, I was, like many others, frustrated. I definitely noticed that in a lot of reviews. A lot of us were frustrated by that reveal. But yeah, I think without that reveal, this would have been a solid 4 for me, but it is at least a 3, 3.5 now because I was so annoyed. The audio narration on this one's pretty good too, so if you're interested in an audiobook, I do think it's a good option. Then I read Square Waves by Alexandria Romanoff. This is my first 831 stories, and it will not be my last, but I do still have like some beef with this publisher. we'll call it beef. Anyways, I read this because I got an audiobook arc on NetGalley, and I was like, let's just go ahead and read it because I need to just get through these. But Square Waves for me was okay. This was also a 3. I think for being a novella, it was just a little too angsty, to be honest with you. I think when things are short and overly angsty, they just don't work for me. I tend to want that in a longer story, and I feel like this story was overwhelmed by the angst in a way. Our heroine is trying to figure it out. She's on sabbatical, basically on a little leave situation because she is burnt out, and I don't mind that setup. Like, I don't think that's a bad setup, but it was exhausting to say the least when you're reading this and reading this and reading this, and you just like end up, I don't know, I was just exhausted by our heroine in this one, and that's never what I want from my romances, right? So there's that. So then I read The Devil I Don't Know by L.K. Shaw. This was part of my reading my maybes from the try chapters. I ended up accidentally devouring this book, like completely unintentionally devouring this mafia romance. I don't know that I would say it's good, and I don't know that I would continue the series, but I had a fun time, is what I will tell you. I'm not going to give you extensive thoughts because there's a whole vlog coming soon in February, hopefully, if I get through all of them, or early March, where I've read all of these books. But I would say this was a fun time. I got it for free. I think it's still free on Kindle. And yeah, we follow a girl who gets betrothed to this guy that she doesn't want to have to marry. And there's a lot of them back and forthing around her place in the mafia and stuff. And also like how he can show up for her and what he's willing to do, and like he's a widower, and there's all of this stuff to it, and finding out who is on the inside causing issues. So it was one of those ones where I was like, this is not like amazing, but like I also cannot put this down. Little on the gory side too, though. I will tell you that there's a little bit of gore in this one, so do keep that in mind. But it was a fun time. Like, I just had a fun time at the end of the day with it more than anything. Then I read Breaking Away by Suk Kaur. This is a hockey romance with a Southeast Asian heroine, and her dad is the first ever coach from Southeast Asia, and she is engaged to his star player, and they've known each other since high school and all this stuff, and it is her romance with him falling apart, and this guy from high school, Dimitri, kind of swooping in to save the day a little bit in the best ways possible. Literally the best ways possible. It's really, really sweet. It's really, really cute. I had so much fun with this. I talk about it extensively in my KU check-in that you're getting, like literally in a few days. So I'm not going to go too in depth on this one because of that, but I will say that if this has been on your radar, maybe give it a try. She may not work for you as a heroine. She's very insecure, but I liked that the book was her overcoming a lot of these insecurities personally. It felt different and it felt refreshing. It gave kind of like The Wingman by Stephanie Archer, but different. So a little bit of that, because they weren't really friends in high school or anything. They just knew each other. So there's that. Then I read Through Gates of Garnet and Gold. This is the newest Wayward Children by Shauna McGuire. My hold came in from the library a lot quicker than I expected, so I was thrilled for that. And I thought this was okay. It was a good continuation. It was not bad by any means, but I didn't think it was as good as other books have been in the series. It's not a standout, and it's not like the least favorite I've read in the series. I cannot believe we're 11 books deep. I can tell you that right now. But I enjoyed it. We do have a villain that shows up from prior books, so that was kind of fascinating to see. It was also interesting to be in the underworld space where these people are statues, like humans act as statues basically, while the dead pass through, and like that was fascinating. We kind of had a little bit of the gangs back together vibe happening, so that was also fun. But yeah, I am intrigued to say the least about where we're headed in the rest of the series, but this one was not terrible. Then I read A Breath of Fresh Air by Allegra Hall. This was so good. I also talk about this in the KU check-in. The next 3 are all in the KU check-in. And the next 2 are all in my KU check-in as well. But this was so good. I highly recommend this novella. I honestly walked away like, wow, you packed so much into a 90-some page novella. I would have never guessed. But this follows a heroine who's in her 50s, and she is at her daughter's wedding. And lo and behold, her and this wolf shifter hit it off. And it turns out, of course, they're fated mates, basically, like soulmates. And it's them navigating this. She doesn't live in the area, and does she want to let go of her job and move this way and all these, like, towards where her daughter is to be closer to him because he can't leave. He has a daughter too. She's younger, like 10ish. And it's that entire, like, relationship happening. It's very sweet. It's very steamy. And it's just the right balance of plot and angst and, like, tension that I just sat down and devoured this book and was like, oh, why is this so good? It's so good. So I'm very happy I read it. And then last but not least, we have House of Omega. The Omegaverse phase continues in 2026, and I'm okay with it. But House of Omega follows our heroine, who is a beta on the run, or trying to escape, her stepbrother, who's very controlling and terrible. And in doing so, she ends up meeting this Omega Max, who is being courted by the pack of the House of Rose, basically, who run the House of Omega, like, brand. And they're following that situation, and it's very, very fascinating to watch, to read. And it was another book that I basically devoured. I forced myself to go to sleep. I was like, I have to sleep, but all I want to do is stay up and finish this book. But I was like, you have to sleep. You can't not sleep tonight. That'll be a bad time. So I made myself sleep and finish it the next day. And I had so much fun with this book. But yeah, basically the Omega and Beta, our heroine and other hero, are fated mates of a sort. And the rest of the pack, obviously, are very open to her, as well as our Omega, and it's really, really fun. I thought this did a great job being different than a lot of Omegaverse, but in a way that felt, like, refreshing and not just like you were trying to be different. And yeah, I had so much fun with this. I'm so glad I read it. Anyways, that's everything I read in January for you. If you read anything you loved or hated, let me know down below. We will be talking about my DNFs quarterly, so in April. Yeah, so after Q1, we will discuss my DNFs is my plan and do a check-in on the DNF bingo. It'll be a whole dedicated video because, yeah, there's going to be a lot. But yeah, so there's that. If you don't want to do any of that, you can leave me a grumpy face emoji of your choice. I feel like I read a lot of grumpy heroes this month, which is not a surprise. It is kind of my fave. But yeah, you can do that down below. I will have links to all these books for you, links to my friend anywhere on the internet that I am, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited for.